Hi guys. So, you know how when you have a construction project, sometimes you feel like you are not a professional and you don't have the expertise to be able to make certain decisions, or you just have almost no clue about your project. You just know you want your house or you want your building and all of that. So today I want to just give you some pointers as a layman, someone with no experience, someone who's not a professional contractor who's not in construction, but you are very particular about your project and you want certain things done right. All right, so in today's video, I just want to give you things to look out for as a layman. Now, for today, we'll talk mainly about the planning phase. Okay, so your drawings. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Ifiansa. I am an interior designer and a project manager if you are new here. So for starters, you want to have an architect, you want to have drawings. Please don't start a project without drawings. I've actually had clients call me, ask me to work on a project for them, and there were no drawings and they just had an idea of what they were looking for. Please do not do that. That's the biggest mistake you can make, because even with drawings you can still make mistakes. So have an architect draft working drawings for you. Okay, so working drawings would typically have your plan. It would have your services, so that's your electrical work, where what your electrical placements would be, what your lighting would be, what your plumbing would be, the basic layout of your ventilation, your doors, your windows, things like that need to be documented. Okay, so now let's assume you have your working drawings. If you have your working drawings and on paper you want to figure out if this house is what you would actually like, or this is actually what you are looking for when the building is finally put up, one of the first places that you want to start is your block plan. Okay, so your block plan, usually you would first get your plot. Okay, so your plot would be, if you have a site plan, you should have a site plan. In Ghana, everyone should have a site plan. So if you have a site plan, your site plan would show you where your plot is allocated, what the dimensions are. Is it 70 by 100? Is it 35 by 50? What the orientation would be, so where the road is and all of that. All that information will be on your site plan. Now your architect is going to use this site plan to place your building in your plot, within your plot. Okay, so the front of your house, you might want the front of your house to face one of the sides of your building, of your wall, your fence walls, or you would want the front of your house to face the road. Okay, so that's the wall of your plot that's facing the road. Now this block plan will show you where your building is located within your site plan. Now, as a layman, one of the things you want to look at is the space around it. Is it what you want? You know what you want your backyard to be. Do you want a big backyard? Do you want a small backyard? Do you want more of the space in front? Do you want to push the building all the way to the back and have more space in front? Do you want to be able to park a car on the side of the house? Those are things that you can start to think about and start to make decisions about on your block plan. So that's what your contractor or your foreman, if you're using a foreman, that's how they're going to place your profile. Okay, so we'll get into all of that in the coming videos, but the way they would usually use wood to measure and design basically the fence of your building or the shell of your building on the plot. So you want to get this right. I'll do another video of things to look out for when the project has actually started, so that you know what to do when you go on site and you're not completely clueless. Okay. All right, so this is the first thing. You want to be able to pay attention to some of these things on your block plan. So know where your car, where do you want to park your car, where do you want your plants to be, what does your landscaping look like. If you have a good architect and you're willing to pay a little, sometimes they will give you a 3D drawing. This 3D drawing will give you an idea of what your building will look like. In fact, don't take drawings without a 3D drawing, please. You want to know what your building is going to look like when it's complete. So get an architect who will give you 3D drawings as well as your floor plans. Now, if possible, also make sure that they are done in a unit that is common to, or that is known to wherever you are building. So if you are in Ghana, most of the time people work in the metric system with meters. Okay, now you want to have your drawings in meters if you are in Ghana, because most people work in meters. Your artisans, your carpenter, your mason, your plumber, most of them typically work in meters. So you want your drawings done in meters. Otherwise, you have it in feet and inches, and then it's time for your carpenter to do your form work and he's confused or he's making mistakes. You do not want that. So those are some of the things you want to look out for. I think the next one would be to make sure that you have a floor plan. Now, on your floor plan, please ask your architect to draw or to lay out your furniture inside your floor plan. Okay, sometimes people call this a furniture plan. In Ghana, you can do that on your floor plan. Actually, anywhere you can do that on your floor plan. Now, the reason this is important for you as a lay person is that if you don't have the layout of the furniture pieces within your space, it will be hard for you to understand the orientation of the plan. Let me break it down. If you have a room that's supposed to be your bedroom, you probably have an idea of where you want the bed to be. You may not have thought about it yet. You may be thinking, oh, once the building is finished, it's complete, I'll just put my bed somewhere. Sometimes you'll finish it and now you wish your bed was on a particular wall. When the architect is able to do this for you from the beginning, it allows you to play out what your space is going to look like. It gives you the opportunity to walk through your space even before the project starts. So being able to do this is how you are able to make certain key decisions that at the end of the project, you are going to be glad that you paid attention to some of these things. I always say that you can be a layman, you can be someone you can be an accountant, you can be a banker, but please, sometimes it's very, very important to pay attention to some of these things, because at the end of the day, you are the one going to live in the space. All right, so make sure that these things are on your floor plan. Now, another thing to look out for, where your windows and doors are placed. Like I said, if you have the furniture in the floor plan, it allows you to sort of walk through the space and live in it, an imaginary living situation. But it allows you to sort of play out what the experience in the house or in your building is going to be like. Okay, so look at where your windows are. Do you want some of your rooms to have really long windows? Do you want them to have high windows? Those are things you have to think about. Maybe in your living room, you want it to have really high windows. Talk about some of these things with your architect. Okay, and then just pay attention to some of those things. Now, the next drawing you want to pay attention to, your roof plan. You can talk about it with your architect. There are people who already know the kind of roof they are looking for. Some want the flat roof, some want the traditional type. Whatever it is, discuss it with your architect so that he can take those things into consideration. So it's not at the end of your project that you're now looking for what type of roof am I going to use, who should I call, and all of that. Think about these things from the beginning. It will even save you money, because once you have these decisions from the beginning, you can give it to a roofing company to give you a quote. Sometimes you can lock down the quote even before you get to that stage, just because you had a plan. So that's another thing you want to look at. You don't have to understand it completely, just have a rough idea of what you are looking for, or just explore what those options are. With the roof plan, you can also start to look at maybe where you want your poly tanks and things to go. If you want some solar systems and things like that, you can start looking at where those will be placed as well. Okay, you also want to be able to look at your section drawings. So in working drawings, they'll give you section drawings and elevation drawings. Please make sure you have these section drawings and elevation drawings. Now, a section is like cutting through your building. Okay, so if you have an orange and you cut it straight down through the middle, or you cut it through the side, it shows you what the orange looks like from the side. Okay, so you see the top to bottom, but it shows you what it looks like from the side. Now, the reason elevation drawings and section drawings are important, once again, is so that you can see the height of things. So you want to be able to see, what's the height of my window going to be, what's the height of my door going to be, what's the width of my door, my window. Some of these things are on a floor plan, but because you're a layman and you probably don't necessarily have have that knowledge, this is another place that you can see or visualize some of those things. And whatever you don't understand, whatever doesn't look right to you, ask your architect. Okay, if you are using a draftsman, still expect them to have all these things. Otherwise, see an architect. I always recommend that you go with an architect, but I know in Ghana, sometimes people use draftsmen. There are draftsmen who are good, but an architect is the most appropriate person to use for this. Okay, so that's why you want your section and your elevation. Look out for your ceiling heights. Sometimes you walk into a space and the ceiling height is so low and you wish you had just given it another 2 feet or something, so look out for things like that. I will go into more detail in the coming weeks. I will do a video on each drawing and the specific things to look out for. You want to have a finished floor plan. Now, what a finished floor plan is a floor plan that shows you what you are using on your floors, the finishes that are going to be used. So if you have tiles, porcelain tiles in a particular room, the tiles you use in a bathroom are different from the tiles that you would use in the living room or on your porch or on your landscaping. If you're going to have pavement, it's completely different from what you're going to use inside. Your finished floor plan will have this information. Now, once again, this is another opportunity to discuss your preferences with your architect. Okay, I keep saying architect because that is who you need to sign this before you can even get a permit. Your architect would work with a structural engineer to get this done for you. Now, if you come to an interior designer can design your house for you, but you are still going to need an architect to sign it because we are in Ghana and that's just how it works. Okay, yeah, so have a finished floor plan and start to think about what you're looking for. Once again, it helps you save money because you can start to buy some of those things even before you get to that stage. You can, in Ghana, things are a bit flexible sometimes. You can go to a shop and say, I want to buy this amount of tiles, or this and this is what I'm looking for. This is my floor plan. You get your measurements. You have a rough idea of what they cost. You get a pro forma. Sometimes you can sign with them and lock down your pricing. So you want to have this information before you start building. Now, you also want to have your lighting plan, where your light is going to go, or your electrical work is going to go, or your plumbing is going to go, is so important. It may sound like it's been an afterthought so much on so many projects that I've seen that I just realized, I don't know why we don't pay enough attention to this. And a lot of people move into their homes and then they have to add additional lighting, or they just don't understand why their space is dark. Sometimes lighting, even you have to think about lighting from even where your ventilation is, where are your windows. If you have overhangs, sometimes you won't have enough lighting in a particular room, things like that. But please request for a lighting plan, a power plan, so where all your outlets and things are going. And then also request for a plumbing plan. So where is your toilet? Where's your, toilet or WC, however you want to call it? Where is your bathroom? Where are your taps going to be? Where is your sink? All these things are important. It's important for many reasons. Like I said, I'll break those down when I do the specific videos. So please subscribe so you can see the upcoming videos on the detailed things you need to look out for on each of these drawings. Okay, all right guys, so I didn't want to talk too much in this video. I try to keep my videos short. I hope I'm doing well with that. So yes, for a layman, like I said, this is what you need to know. There's a lot more, but I'll do a deep dive into each drawing and exactly what to look out for and how to look out for them. because the how is also important. Like I said, you may not necessarily have the knowledge or the expertise, but even as a layman, you have been into a house, you've been into a house before, into a building, you have a preference. You know what certain things are supposed to be like. You have a style. So it's important to make sure that all these things are incorporated into your drawings so that they are properly executed. Now, just before I leave, let me quickly say this. Buy a tape measure. Buy a tape measure, so every time you go into your building, you go to your site, you can use it. Even before the project starts, have a tape measure. When you get your architectural drawings, lay it in whatever space you are in now and get an idea of what that space is going to look like. Check the bathroom space. Is it spacious enough for you? Is that what you are looking for? Yeah, you just need to know all these things. Like I said, comment and let me know what your thoughts are. Is this too much information for a layman? Are you interested in understanding some of these things so you can pay attention to them when your project actually starts? Or would you just rather pay someone to do this? Some of us, we are happy to be paid to do this for you. This is what I do. But at the same time, I do know that it is important, if even as a layperson, you have a basic understanding of some of these things, so that when your project is complete, you can be proud of your project and you're not going to look back and say, look at what the contractor did, or why did they do this way, when it was like that from the plan and you could have corrected it from day one. Okay. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening, for watching. Please drop a comment so I know that you appreciate this video. If you do, and if you don't, also let me know what your thoughts are. And yes, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you get the next videos that are coming up. Like I said, I'm going to do a deep dive into the specific drawing so that you know what to do. All right, guys, thank you. I appreciate you. Bye.